Hydraulic elevators are typically found in low-rise commercial and residential buildings. Unlike traction systems, they do not require large overhead hoisting machinery. Instead, hydraulic elevators are powered by a piston that travels inside a cylinder. An electric motor pumps hydraulic oil into the cylinder to move the piston. As hydraulic fluid is pumped into the cylinder through a valve, the cab rises. As the fluid returns into the reservoir, the cab descends. This setup often requires a machine room near the base of the elevator to hold the equipment, which from a scheduling point of view allows for the machine room to begin setup once the framing and rough end begins on the first level. An important difference from a sequencing standpoint is if the system is a hold hydraulic or holeless hydraulic. In a hold hydraulic system, as implied, the cylinder extends below the floor of the elevator pit, which accepts the retracting piston as the elevator descends. From a scheduling perspective, when to drill the hole for the jack becomes the main question. Depending on the strategy of the GC or the elevator installer requirements, it can be done during the foundations phase so that a truck-mounted drill rig can be set in place, or in some cases after steel is installed where the rig will attach to the structure for support. Holeless hydraulic, on the other hand, consists of pistons mounted inside the hoistway to raise and lower the cab. This is especially a solution for buildings built in bedrock, a high water table, or unstable soil conditions that make digging the hole required for a conventional hydraulic elevator impractical.
Traction elevators are the other common type of elevators. Traction elevators involve the use of ropes, pulleys, and counterweights to raise and lower the cabs. Because they are not constrained by hydraulics, traction elevators can travel much farther distances much faster. Geared traction elevators involve the use of a gearbox attached to the motor to drive the cab. These elevators are typically slower than gearless elevators, but are able to run on a much smaller motor size due to their gear reduction factor. Gearless traction elevators are what most think of when describing elevators. These elevators employ a motor pulling cables with a cab attached to one end and a counterweight attached to the other. These elevators can travel up to 2,000 feet per second and are the only choice for high-rise applications. In conclusion, both types of elevators have their own applications that are most efficient. Similarities between both types are that they need a roof to be in installation, they need wires fed to the machine room by the electrician, and both need clear access for installation with dry storage near the hoistway.